Hey everyone, it's Jeremiah here with Svaren Web Studio, and in today's video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I decided to move back to WordPress.
I'm going back to
WordPress.
I'm going back to
WordPress.
I'm going back to
WordPress after being on Squarespace when I thought that was maybe the answer. And if you don't know who I am and what Svaren Web Studio is, I'm on a mission to help make the internet a better place, one website at a time, by helping you master your website redesign with tutorials, courses, and consulting. So without further ado, let's dive into my site, SvarenWebStudio.com, and go over a few of the reasons why I decided to make the switch back to WordPress and go through all the trouble and rigmarole, I think that's how they say that, to make it over to WordPress, and I'm not moving back. At least I don't think so. So first things first, this is the site as it stands now using WordPress, and I'll get into kind of like the more nitty-gritty details of what I'm using on the back side of it and all that stuff, but I just want to go over a few things that really kind of sold me on going back to WordPress and leaving Squarespace. So first things first is the ability to use code snippets in various places using the PHP backend of WordPress. So this is kind of some more technical tidbits, but like this section right here you're seeing in the front is also pulled in an article. So when you go down to the bottom of an article, that same piece of code creates this section right here, and that gets created on every post. And I can even customize that depending on the category of the post it's in. Something else that I really like is how freaking fast this is. Now, not every WordPress website is this fast. This has to do with the theme, the hosting, and using Cloudflare. But that was kind of one of the bigger pulls, was being able to get my site to be passing all of the core web vitals, because I'm trying to take my website a little more seriously. I've been kind of using YouTube as my main marketing engine, and that's kind of like the main way that I get these tutorials out to you is through YouTube. But I want to create a home on my website where all these tutorials can live and can go a little bit more in depth, and also to just kind of build my brand out fully and not rely on YouTube so much. And so having a fast website is critical now with the Core Web Vitals update. If you are trying to rank for any really competitive keywords, and who knows, in the future, they just may prioritize faster websites, even if there's not a lot of competition. Now, I will say with a caveat on that, it probably depends on, your niche, if it's a local SEO, like there's a ton of variations of like why page speed may or may not matter. And I'll get into why I'm not recommending WordPress to all of my clients, because some clients are on Squarespace and I don't think that there's a need for them to move over to WordPress, but I digress. I'll get to that point in a moment. So right now the homepage is loading crazy fast. It's passing all the core web vitals. As you can see, it's popping up, and I could even go a little bit further by activating WebP images, which is something Squarespace is said that they have on their roadmap to do at some point. It's like next generation images, but it's not 100% necessary depending on your circumstances. So that's the homepage loading really fast. And then this is a blog post that has a really long, it's a lot of text. There's not a lot of images, but there is a video embedded from YouTube. And that also loads really fast and passes all the core web vitals. And if we go to GT metrics, you can see that this thing is loading really fast, 350 milliseconds on desktop, which is like, I don't even know if you can blink that fast. So having a fast website and being able to customize things on the back end is really nice for me. It's not for everybody. Some people want to just be able to put up a blog post without even thinking about it. There's a little bit of maintenance that goes along with the WordPress site, It's nothing too crazy now, especially with like SiteGround hosting, which is what I use. They offer managed WordPress hosting, so you can have it do updates for you automatically. It does backups. It's built for WordPress. There's other ones like WP Engine and Kinsta and Flywheel. They're all WordPress specific. And if you look at like the pricing of it, because some people think, well, is it more expensive? Is it cheaper? If you're going to go for a WordPress dedicated hosting, it's going to be relatively the same. It might be a little bit more depending on if you're paying monthly or yearly. But I think it's worth it if you are like truly taking your online business seriously or your content driven business. But that again kind of depends on the plan for your website and where you're going to go. For me, since I want to build this online brand and take it really seriously and expand my footprint on the web, it's well worth the cost of admission. So I'm on the Go Geek plan, which is it starts out at $10.69 a month if you use the link in the description, SvarenWebStudio.com/siteground. You get a discount there. I'd recommend buying a year at a time because you'll get that discount for the full year. If you just bought 1 month, then the next month the price goes up. Otherwise, it's $40 a month. And, compared to Squarespace, that's closer to their commerce plan. I would not sell anything on WordPress using WordPress's platform, WooCommerce. It's ugly and you'll be frustrated the whole time with it. But if I ever did plan to sell anything in the future, I would be going to Shopify for that. While Squarespace's online, marketplace shopping cart is pretty good and pretty functional, I think that nobody can beat Shopify because they're pretty well out ahead of the race in front of all that. But that being said, the site speed is critical for me and for some people, depending on your business. I'm going to now talk a little bit about some of my clients who I'm not urging go on WordPress and leave Squarespace and why that is. So a couple of them are local businesses. One of them is a local restaurant. The other one is a local auto mechanic shop. And both of these customers get most of their traffic from Google, but they're getting it from the map pack in Google when you search and you see the map results and you see the 5-star reviews and you're seeing, get directions, all that little snippet. I'll give you a flash of what that looks like. So they're getting their traffic from Google Maps, really, is where all this information is coming from, or Google My Business. And so having a fast website's not really going to do them a whole lot. Maybe we could get them up a little bit higher, but we're going to be starting to compete with Yelp or some other third-party service finders, like review sites. So it's not really worth the hassle and the extra cost to migrate their site over. I mean, if they wanted to move their site over, then yeah, we could do that, but it's not really in their best interest when their maintenance is already pretty low because, on Squarespace, you don't really have to do any maintenance, anything. You're just adding copy or improving your site or, doing updates reflective of your business. And so another thing to think about with Squarespace and, the fact that they're lagging behind right now in the speed site is that they are working on it. I'm not happy with how they've approached it and how they haven't really been a whole lot of, there hasn't been a whole lot of transparency around this issue of site speed. They've shared a little bit in some of the circle forums, which is like their inner circle. If you've designed 3 websites, then you can join the Squarespace circle. And one of those forums, one of the developers came on and shared a little bit about what they're doing. But it again was kind of lackluster in what they were providing there. They weren't providing any timelines, any hard deadlines of when they were going to have this by. And there's just a lot of work that they need to do, and I don't like not having control of that, especially when my business is 90% online. I don't want to rely on other people if I don't have to. I want it to be able to have control over that. And so that's why I chose WordPress, and specifically the Carbonate WordPress theme, which is from MoneyLab, SvarenWebStudio.com/Carbonate. If you want to check that out, it's a paid theme and there's not a lot of support behind it, but it's made really simply and with minimal code so that everything is just fast and loads quickly. Now, this theme was built with content marketing businesses and content driven businesses in mind. So this is ideal for blogs, or if you want to call yourself a blog, a website with lots of content on it, where you are trying to get stuff ranking on Google, and where you are trying to collect email addresses, sell courses, sell services. But if you're a local business, or if you're a local service provider, you might find using this template or this theme a little bit more work than you might expect, because it is so optimized for building posts and not necessarily pages. There's certainly ways around it, but for the most part, it's going to be perfect for anybody who's got a blog and is trying to expand their reach with that. Now, if all this sounds like really awesome and you're like, hell yeah, I want to leave Squarespace, but I don't know the first thing what to do when it comes to WordPress, then I do have a course where I lay out exactly how to go from Squarespace to WordPress. I take you through as I move Will Gibbons' site, who is a 3D renderer. I moved him over from Squarespace to WordPress, and I record every step of the way. You're basically watching over my shoulder, and I explain every step, how to move your content and not lose SEO rankings, and how to improve everything as you go along. And so there's many hours of content here, all video, over the shoulder, lots of bonus material. You'll even get my migration cheat sheet for actually making sure that you get every single URL and you're not having 404s and you're not having Google wonder where the heck your website went. So if you're interested in that, SvarenWebStudio.com/graduate Squarespace. There'll be a link in the description. You can use the coupon code YouTube for 20% off. You get access to this thing forever, 100% money back guarantee for 30 days. If you're not happy with it, just let me know. Or if you are like, this sounds great, but I don't have the time or the care to move my website over, can I hire you? Yes, you can. Of course you can. If you go to SvarenWebStudio.com, you will see at the top there, there's a Hire Us button. If you click on that and fill out a form to apply to work with us, just to make sure that we can actually help you, then we can get to chatting and we can help you get moved over to WordPress. Or maybe I'm going to tell you that you shouldn't move. That might happen. I hope this was helpful in helping you decide if you want to move from Squarespace to WordPress, if it's worth it. If you have any questions about the process, or any specific questions about your business and if you should move over to WordPress or Squarespace, there are tons of other platforms also. WordPress is just kind of the de facto for content marketing businesses, and for anybody who's trying to build out a big brand, WordPress is kind of the one that everybody's built on top of. So it's a really great place to stand. Another thing I like about WordPress is it's not a publicly traded company. Once Squarespace became a publicly traded company, I started to get a little worried that they would try to appease shareholders more than they would customers. Time will tell on that if that becomes the case. All right, that's enough rambling for me. I hope this video was helpful. Be sure to check out SvarenWebStudio.com for more tutorials and courses to help level up your website redesign. And subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. And until next time, peace.